Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my labor and delivery story. So baby girl's right over here asleep right now. I gave birth to her April 9th at 1:45 a.m. in the morning, and she weighs 6 pounds 13 ounces. My labor was super fast to be my first time. Not expected. I know my nurse told me don't be telling people this story. For them, it's not something that's normal for a first pregnancy to happen so fast, but mine did. So let's just start from the beginning. So on Wednesday, I gave birth on Thursday. Again in the morning. On Wednesday, I had a doctor's appointment at 11:15 in the morning. I went to my appointment. I was supposed to get tested for the whole group B test, and then the doctor decided to check to see if I was dilated. I wasn't. She did, the vaginal exam. So when she stuck her fingers up in me, that crap hurted so bad, and I'm like, get your fingers out of me. And she's like, I could feel the baby's head, so she's in a good position. I'm like, yeah, good thing she never flipped back around. But I'm like, her fingers up in me hurt. So once I was done, she was like, you can expect a little spot when you do vaginal exams. Uh-oh. Someone's getting okay, she's cool. I think she's gonna wake up. She's gonna want to eat. So yeah, so she said you can expect a little bit of spotting. So I'm like, okay, no problem. I already know that. But like after I left the doctor's office, like it just didn't feel right down there. And as soon as I get home and go to the bathroom, and I wiped myself, this wasn't like regular spotting, like light blood or anything. Like it looked like my period was like just going off, and it was like that pink stuff, but it was like a lot of it. And like every time I wiped myself, it was more and more. So I'm like, all right, what the heck did this doctor do to me when she stuck her fingers up in me? So anyway, the day goes on. I eat dinner around 8 o'clock ish. Yeah, no, it was 8 o'clock when I ate dinner. And I had made Alfredo, and I was on my way after I finished eating to take my bowl into the kitchen. I put it in the sink, and I was going to take my dog, put him on the leash outside, and let him go to the bathroom. As I'm walking through the dining room, gush of water just comes out, and I'm like, I pull my pants down, my underwear down, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, the water is just leaking. And then I go run into the basement because that's where my fiance was at. He's in his man cave, so I ran into the basement, and I'm like, I think my water just broke. And he was like, well, did you call the doctor? What did they say? I'm like, I didn't call them yet. Like, it literally just happened. So I come back up the steps, get my phone, call the doctor. I get the emergency operator or whatever for the doctors, and I tell her that I think my water just broke, and she was like, okay, she's gonna get the doctor to call me back. So I'm like, all right. So once I hung up with her, I instantly had to poop. I'm like, crap, I have to poop. So I go run up the steps, and as I'm going, more liquid is just gushing out, and I'm like, all right, I need to make it up to the bathroom faster before I start leaking fluid everywhere. Okay, she's waking up. Okay, time to feed her. I'll be right back. She wasn't hungry. She just had to poop. That means I have to change your diaper. As soon as this story's done, I'll change you, okay? All right, precious? All right. So I go to the bathroom or whatever, and then I'm taking, the clothes off. My fiance, he gets in the shower. And then, because the doctor didn't call me back yet, so I'm changing out of the clothes, and I'm like, dang, should I get in the shower? But then the doctor called me back, and she was like, if you are leaking, like, if your water did break, you're going to have to go into triage. They're going to have to check to make sure that your water broke. If your water did break, they're going to keep you. So I tell him that, and so for me, I was like, dang, I want to get in the shower. Because, I just pooped. Now I got poop butt. So I'm like, I want to get in the shower, but I'm like, I don't have anything packed. Was not expecting this. I just went to the doctor that morning. I was not dilated when she checked me, and I think I forgot to mention that, but I was not dilated when she checked me. So 0 centimeters, 11:15 in the morning when I got checked at the doctor's. I was not dilated, and here we are, almost 8:30. My water is breaking, and I'm like, okay, crap. So I didn't have anything ready. Her clothes weren't washed. I was going to do that the next day. Like, I had everything planned. Like, I'm going to wash her clothes and do this, that, and on Thursday. And didn't happen. So I just decided, I just started throwing stuff in a bag, just to have to take with me. And then, so, you know, I changed out of everything. I'm sorry, I'm getting like distracted with stuff. So I changed out of my clothes. I put like dry stuff on. And as I'm changing out, more it's gushing. So I grabbed my towel and I just put it in between my legs until we were pretty much ready to go. And then I grabbed another towel out of the closet and I put that in the seat. I brought my bag with me. My boyfriend was like I probably won't need it, and he'll just bring it like if I need it or whatever. So we head to the doctor. No, you're hungry, aren't you? I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Look how little she is. She's only a 6-pound baby. Okay, she's hungry. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. So we head to the doctor. I go to the hospital. It's like 9 something. When we left, hang on, because my dog keeps barking. Like, I know there's nobody down there. Like, so we head to the doctor. I get to the hospital probably like 9:15 or something like that, and I had to get checked because the whole virus thing. So they checked my temperature and everything like that before I went in, and then I went to the back. He stayed outside and waited because he didn't want to come in, because the whole rule was I only had one person with me, and if they're with me, they can only leave once within a 12-hour period. So he didn't want to come in until, you know, he knew whether he needed to stay or if he could go and come back. I get to the hospital, you know, they check my forehead, my temperature's fine or whatever, and then they take me back. Then I'm sitting there. My contractions started happening around 8:37. Well, I downloaded the app, so like around 8:30 is like when they started happening. They were not bad at all. Chase, please. There's nobody over there. Sorry. But yeah, so these are my contractions. So they like, I got baby, she's feeding on me. So they kind of started happening. The first one happened once I downloaded the app. I started timing at 8:37. That one lasted for 23 seconds, and then the next one came 2 minutes later for 37 seconds. Then another 2.5 minutes later, and then that one lasted a minute, and then almost 3 minutes later, then it was like 30 seconds. So like my contraction was just literally all over the place. A minute, 22 seconds, 3 minutes. Like, it was just weird. Like it was weird, and they were just like all over the place. It went from a minute to 3 minutes to 5 minutes in between contractions. So anyway, once I got to the hospital, and they took me back, I had to feel like they had to put me in the system and everything like that, and she was taking like forever. So I texted him. It was like 9:36 when I texted him, and I told him that, you know, they're still filling out paperwork, whatever. My contractions are really bearable. Like, I could bear with them at this point. Like, they're not hurting bad. You know, I'm breathing through them. When I get one, I just kind of like close my eyes, and I was breathing through it. And so it was almost like, once I got back, it was like about 9:50 once I got back into triage, and the doctor came and checked me, and she said I was 2 centimeters dilated. And then another doctor came in saying that they wanted to induce me. At this point, it's like 10:01, that they wanted to induce me, and whether I wanted to do that. So I asked my mom, and my mom tells me, you know, not to do it. Pretty much, you know, like, they're being impatient. At least use it as a last resort. And then I tell my fiance that too, and he's like, yeah, don't do it yet, because he wants to be there. Like, he didn't want to come in yet if he had to leave, because then he wouldn't be able to come back in. So he was like, yeah, don't do it yet. So I told him that I was going to do it as a last resort. So I get back into my room around like, they take me back into a room around like 10:15ish, I guess you could say. And they're putting me on like the machine. They gave me the whole IV thing, and they put me attached to machines and stuff like that. And then I was like, I have to poop. I was thinking, oh my gosh, I have to poop. So I ended up going to the bathroom a second time. So now I have double poop fight. I'm like, crap. And I couldn't wash my butt. So I'm like, ugh. I'm like, well, at least I won't poop when I get birth. so, so the contractions are, again, like the ladies, like she's monitoring them. She was like, your contractions are literally like all over the place. So, the doctor comes back in saying that they want to induce me, if like I don't progress, that they're going to induce me 9 in the morning. So I tell him that he did FaceTime. He was on FaceTime for a little bit. My sister and mom, like one is kind of like texting me. And I'm just kind of breathing through the contractions, and I'm like around like 11-ish. You done? Milk wasted. Where you thing it? Where did milk? Can you get burped? Can you get burped? Yeah, your milk wasted. So, so around like 11 something, I would say my contractions started to get. What are they doing? Ooh, someone need their diaper changed. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. What are these people? Like, what's going on? So like around 11, I say like 11:30-ish, my contractions, they felt. You're not done eating? You sleep. Hold on. I think it's people next door. I don't know what the heck they're doing. Okay, hang on. I'll be right back. Alright, guys. I'm back. So yeah. So my contractions are pretty much bearable until like around 11. But they're kind of like... I stopped timing them, so I'm not even sure how long they were lasting. No. So yes, I'm not sure like how long they were lasting, but I was pretty much breathing through. I'm like, I was like, but then I got like extremely sleepy. So I was texting my sister and stuff and my mom, and I'm like, I'm really sleepy. I'm like, I just want to go to sleep. I tried laying down. Like when I laid down on my side, it made the contractions worse. So I'm like, no. So when I would get a contraction and I was laying down, I would instantly get up, and I didn't get to film anything because at this point, like, I was a little weak, and I'm like, I can't hold the camera up and try to manage these contractions because, you know, someone was supposed to be in the room filming. There was supposed to be more than one person in the room because I think this hospital, they only allow 2 people, like regular, which I was gonna have, you know, her dad and my mom, but I'm like, I can't hold a camera and try to record. So I felt real tired. I just wanted to go to sleep, but the contractions would not let me sleep. So when I tried to lay down, when I wasn't having a contraction and a contraction came in, I was like, I can't lay down and breathe through this. Like, it hurts. So I would try to get up. I started like swaying side to side. They had a rocking chair. I sat in it. The rocking chair was so uncomfortable. So I got up. I was like leaning over top of the rocking chair, like trying to breathe through it. And then so pretty much when I got through the contraction, then I was like, okay. And then I was on the phone and I got a contraction. I was on FaceTime with him, and I stood up when I had this contraction, and I was like, I feel sick. The food that I ate instantly came up and it went in my mouth, and I didn't know where to throw it up at. So I just threw up on my bed. I had like the pad was down on there, and I was just like, and I just threw up. He like, ew. And I told my mom, and my mom said that was a good sign. So I pooped twice that day, and I ended up throwing up. And so I paged the nurse, and I told her that I threw up, and then she gave me like a barf bag, and then I kind of threw up a little bit more in that, and then so he was like, all right, I'm about to go eat. And he was like, I'm not going to go to sleep. Just call me back if anything changed, because I told him that the doctor wanted to induce me 9 in the morning. So he was like, all right, well, I probably won't go to sleep, but I'm going to come back real early in the morning, because he had my dog to deal with, and then his kids are here as well. So he was like, I'm going to come back early in the morning so I could be there before or whatever, because my dog, he's been having like anxiety and been pooping and crazy. So he had to deal with him as well. So that's why he didn't want to come in to the hospital just yet, because we were told that I was going to get induced, that my labor pretty much was not progressing fast enough, and that they were just going to induce me in the morning. And then I asked her when they were going to check to see if I was dilated again. She told me 6 hours. So we're thinking that, had all the time in the world pretty much. So so pretty much I'm just like trying to breathe through these contractions. They're getting more intense, and I'm just like, ooh, like I was in the bed at this point. I was laying down in the bed again. I'm like, I had my eyes closed. This is the sound I was making. Since I don't have video, I'm going to just tell you the sound I was making. I was like, and the nurse is like, breathe, breathe, breathe. I'm like, so I was just breathing through it. And it was like, it was probably like 12:45 or something like that, and I'm on my hands and knees over top of, like, on the bed on my hands and knees, like swaying side to side, and I'm like, in my head, if I continue with these labor pains into the morning, I said, I don't know, I might cave and get an epidural. I know everybody throughout my pregnancy kept telling me, oh, you saying this now that you don't want to get an epidural, watch, you're going to get it. And my sister was like, if you saying you don't want one, but trust me, in the moment you're going to want one. And I'm just trying to keep a positive state of mind throughout my pregnancy to not want an epidural. Like, that's the only way that I felt that I could train myself to not get it, is just to kind of say that, no, I want one. I don't care what the pain feel like. I'm not going to get it. That's pretty much how I had to go about pretty much not getting an epidural. But I'm not going to lie, in that moment I was like, if I'm still here until they induce me in the morning with these pains, I don't know. I asked about the other pain meds, and she told me that the other pain medicine, that like it'll make you sleepy, but the pain won't go away. And I'm like, well, what's the point of getting that? Like, I'll be able to sleep, but then again, I won't be able to sleep because I'm still feel the pain. So I was like, there's no point in me taking it. So again, this is around like 12:45. So now here I'm in, still having contractions. And then I get one. It was like probably like close to 1:30. It was like 1:25 or something like that. I get a contraction, and I'm like, and the nurse is standing right next to me. I was like, it feels like I have to push. I felt baby just instantly like come down immediately, like woof, this pressure. Like, she was ready to just slide out. And I'm like, I feel like I had to push. So I'm in the bed when this contraction come. Because the contraction I had prior was just like a regular contraction. But then this one hit, and it was whoosh. And I'm like, and I'm pulling myself up as baby is pushing herself down. And I'm like, I feel like I have to push. So she gets the doctor. The doctor comes in, checks me, and was like, yep, it's time to push. And this was at 12:30, I guess. And I called my fiance. I was like, no, I had to call my fiance. So I called him, and he answered, and I'm like, it's time for me to push. So he hops in the car. He said he was running red lights and everything like that. He would have made it because he was running lights and stuff. So he would have made it to her birth. But when he got to the hospital, the entrance were the emergency. There was like nowhere to park over there. The valet wasn't there, so he had to go all the way around where this hospital is. Like, you had to go all the way around from where the emergency room at to where the garage is at. So it was already really far. He gets and parks in there. He goes up the escalator, runs across the hall to get into the hospital. That entrance is locked. So then he had to run back around, run all the way to the emergency room. He gets in, they had to check his temperature and all that. And then he tells the lady that I'm in labor. She's taking her sweet time. So he was literally like about roughly 5 minutes late from seeing her be delivered. So I did end up doing this by myself, no epidural. So when the doctor was like, yeah, it's time to push, it was like my body took over. And I just had to, I just listened to my body. My body immediately took over, and it was like, here it comes. I could feel it. And there was like this big pressure. And I was like, and they were like, ugh, I can't even think right now, but it was like this huge pressure for me to push. And I just let my body do it. And it was like, all right, deep breath in, push, 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 push. And I'm just like pushing as hard as I can. And I'm just keep going. And they're like, okay, stop. Do it again. And I did it. I pushed like 3 times within that first huge contraction, and then they let me relax. And I was like, no. I was like, here it comes again. Like, it wasn't them telling me to push. I was listening to my body. My body was telling me to push, and I was like, here it comes again. And they were like, push, 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 relax, push, 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 relax, push, 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 relax. And I did that, and then it was like, all right, cool, nothing. And then it came again. Push, 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 push. And then when they was like, okay, relax, and I was like, no. I was like, here's another one. And this was the last one. And the doctor was like massaging, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna have to cut you a little bit because the baby looked like she was going to tear you. She was massaging and everything down there, but she was like, it's real tight. It doesn't look like it's going to stretch that much. So she was like, I'm gonna have to cut you a little bit. So to numb me up, they cut me, and then baby was like, I'm getting out of here. Another one came, and they were like, push, 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 push. She was like, keep going, you're coming. I was like, can you see the head? They were like, we see the head. And they was like, push, 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 push. And when she came out, it was just like, a relief. And I was like, the first thing I said was, I did it. And they was like, you did a good job. I was like, oh my gosh, I did it, because I did it without an epidural. And I literally was starting to consider it. I didn't want it, I wanted to like push through it, but I was like, I'm not gonna lie, if I had to keep dealing with this pain. And to be honest, the pain was painful, but it was like, for someone who has a high pain tolerance, they would have been able to take those contractions without any problem. But for me, it was just kind of like, I don't like pain, and the pain wasn't really unbearable. It's just that I don't like pain regardless. And it was just like, no, I don't know, I'm considering it. But I was happy that I stuck through it. I did it alone, and not necessarily alone. I just didn't have, like, her dad wasn't there. But the nurses were so helpful. Like, she kept telling me, breathe through it, breathe, breathe, breathe. They already had everything that I wanted. They knew that I didn't want, any pain meds prior, because I told my doctor that. So the doctors and everything, like, they were all on point. They knew that I wanted to do delayed cord. Like, I didn't have to tell them anything. They had everything, like, done for me. So, because my mind was just like, oh my gosh, I just delivered her without any medicine, and she came super fast. So from 1:30 to 1:45, she was born at 1:45. I pushed her out, so she came super fast. And I think because she didn't want to be drugged, because they were going to induce me, and baby was like, no, mom, no, they're not inducing you, because watch what I'm about to do. That contraction was just like so crazy. Oh my goodness. So now, like, I have experienced it, and now I understand, like, from watching like videos when people tell you, because I was reading comments and stuff. I was trying to stay away from a lot of the negative videos about everybody that's like, oh, it's so painful, it hurts, and you're gonna want an epidural, and this, that, and the third. Like, I knew I didn't want to be numb and not be able to feel what was happening. And I didn't get, like, when she was coming out, I didn't get that burning ring of fire that I read about and watched videos about. She literally pushed her little tiny self out, and excuse me, and I just had to get cut a little bit. But other than that, like, it wasn't. It was a really good experience. Although it didn't go as planned, it did go as planned. The only thing that didn't go as planned is that her dad was in there, and that, you know, none of my family could come up because of everything that's going on. But other than that, it went as planned. Like, I didn't do the epidural. I pushed through it. I breathed and made little noises through it. But I wasn't like loud. Like, people be like, "Oh, you screaming." I was just like, that was the noise that I made. But to be honest, like, all the videos I watch, in the moment, everything kind of literally just like leaves your brain. But my nurse and the nurses in there, like, they really brought me back. At one point, when I was on the bed swaying side to side, because I wear natural deodorant and I didn't get to take a shower. I normally take a shower at night, so I didn't get to take a shower. So by that time, my deodorant has worn off, and I'm like, my deodorant wore off, trying to make myself laugh as I'm going through these contractions. But overall, I was in labor for 5 hours and only pushed for 15 minutes. You okay? But yeah, so that is my labor and delivery story. It's not normal for a first-time mom to deliver so fast, especially when they were monitoring me and they saw that my contractions were just literally like inconsistent. And because my water broke, they wanted to induce me because they said that you could get an infection and stuff like that if you wait too long. But my mom was like, no, they're just being impatient. And baby girl was like, yeah, they are. And I'm going to show them that you don't need, you're not going to induce my mom. Because I know I heard, like, when they induce you, like, it burns and it hurts and stuff like that. And baby girl was like, no, ma, I got you. So she had my back, right? You had mommy back. But yeah, so that is my labor and delivery story. It was a positive one. The nurses were very helpful. And that's pretty much it. She is here now, 2 weeks early, 2 weeks and a day early, but she is here. So I delivered 37 weeks, 6 days, barely 6 days, but 37 and 6 days. So she was almost pretty much 38 weeks. So key here. So yeah, so she's here. All right, time for me to go, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you have any other questions, you can leave them down below. And I will see you all in my next video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye, guys.